Jesse Poster. I'll just give a brief explanation about myself, and Winnie can as well. I was born and raised in Southern California. Went to North High, the better school. And she'll say why, because her school wasn't good. But
We were libraries.
yeah, but mine was better. So, but I was born and raised in Southern California, lived in Torrance, Longdale area, the South Bay they call it. I was in the military for about 13 years almost. They medically discharged me because of PTSD and TBI. TBI is a traumatic brain injury and some other stuff that happened to me during my combat tours for being a paratrooper. And so, and then during all that time, struggling with drugs and alcohol and just kind of like trying to forget everything. And ultimately, at a point where I was, married with Alini, I pretty much hit a rock bottom spot in my life where I just had to rededicate my life to Christ. And then since then, I just have been serving and trying to spread His love however I can since then. And now it's almost 9 years clean and sober. So.
My name's Alini Poster, and Jesse and I, we've been married for almost 12 years now, praise the Lord. And I'm originally from Brazil. I was born in São Paulo. So I moved here when I was 5 years old. My parents came out to the United States as missionaries, which is quite interesting. And my parents are Salvation Army officers as well. So I got to grow up with all the Salvation Army programs, and it was just a blessing that I got to be a part of that. As Jesse mentioned, we met in high school through mutual friends. Our high schools were libraries. I went to West High, the best school ever in Torrance, California, down in Southern California. So I'm still learning some of the lingo here. When people say the Bay Area, I go, the South Bay Area or the San Francisco Bay Area? So still learning. This is our second year here, and we are just so humbled and honored to be here and just to be able to serve all of the community needs here in Auburn. So starting off, I believe Jesse's going to share some volunteer opportunities and just a little slideshow that he put together for everybody.
Well, first, we're with the Salvation Army, of course. And the thing that I wanted to share first is, I don't want to mess this up, but let's see, where's the arrow? There it is. Our mission statement for the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army is an international movement. It is an evangelical part of the Universal Christian Church. Its message is based on the Bible. Its ministry is motivated by the love of God. Its mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. And so I say that because that is the filter for which we do everything. And one thing I want to share is the 10 things we do for the community, the 10 major things that we do for the community, because we are so much more than a thrift store. Go again. The 10 major things: we have church and spiritual care services, we have food pantry, we have emergency disaster. Right here is a big one that we do here, the emergency disaster. EDS is what we call it. We've been to every major disaster, even before I was here. The Corps, the Salvation Army of Auburn, has been to every major disaster and fire that's been in this area. Since I've been here, we've been to the Klamathon fires, we've been to the Carr Fire, we helped with the Paradise Fire, we just helped with the Kincaid Fire, we helped with the Russian River flooding as well. There's just so much we do. Just recently, we have served with the Kincaid Fire, almost 9,000 meals just in less than a week to first responders and fire victims, you can say evacuees. There's been about almost 100 people that lost their homes out of 366 structures destroyed. And so the thing that the Salvation Army tries their hardest to do is we try to be the first ones there, and we will be the last person you see as well there. We still have people helping victims from the Paradise Fires. We still have people helping the Carr Fire victims. We're still there in what they call the LAC, is a long-term assistance centers, where we're trying to get people tools if they're a carpenter or a mechanic. We're trying to get them a house. We're trying to just get people back on their feet and back to their normal, as they would call it. You know, it's never going to be how it was, but we're trying to get them to a normal where they can start functioning and just moving forward from this tragedy. It's the big focus for the emergency disaster is speaking hope in unspeakable situations. We do youth programs and summer camps women's and men's programs, senior services, and I underline this, community Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas assistance. And I'll let Alini talk a little bit about that real quick because we have opportunity coming up for those.
Yes, so this year I get to be in charge of the Thanksgiving community dinner as well. Last year was my first time, and it was just a very humbling experience. And so we have some volunteer opportunities. If you're interested, you can go to auburnsalarmy.org, and it'll take you right to our volunteer link for the Thanksgiving dinner. There's 2 different days. There's a Wednesday the 27th and Thursday the 28th that you can click on. There's many different times and shifts that you can sign up for. And then it automatically comes to me. And then the day of, I'll just print everybody's information out, and it's just a wonderful volunteer system. Last year, we served 1,453 meals to the community. And so sometimes people think that, you know, a need may be just, you may be homeless, but honestly, the Thanksgiving community meal is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're homeless or if you're a CEO to a company. You're all welcome. Everybody has different needs. And so this is just something I've learned. Sometimes, you know, you don't have a place to go to, or maybe you don't have a big family, or there's only 2 of you. Welcome. Come to our community Thanksgiving meal. And so I also would like to take this opportunity to invite you to come be a part of it and volunteer with us.
Well, and also she didn't mention is coming up is Christmas assistance. We give out a food box, we give out presents to families. We have opportunities for everyone to participate in this and to be the hope and to be love in action, to be that compassion in action by adopting a family. If you want more information about that, you can contact Lieutenant Alini. You can have an angel tree in your business where you have these tags up with the kids' names on it and their wish list and get presents for them. There's just so many ways you can volunteer. And there's also, Alini can give the date, if you want to help with the distribution and see the lives that are touched by this event. Then if you want to volunteer and help pass out food boxes, and we give out a voucher for a turkey or a ham, and then also the bag of toys that the parents get for their families that wouldn't get it otherwise.
Yeah, so our Christmas assistance program are for low-income families, and last year we helped over 300 families here in the community. And we also started teens as well, which K-High Radio helped us raise funds to provide teen toys, well, mostly gift cards for teens because that's what they're mostly interested in. And we also got some new support that wanted us to come and bring a tree, and we decorate it, and then we put the children's information on the angel tree tag. And it's really neat because you actually get to keep the top part, so it's like a little angel, and you get to keep it, and then you get to hang it on your tree, and the bottom part you connect it with the gift that you bring back to the location. So we have them in different banks around here, Wells Fargo's, Bank of America. So there's about 7-8 different locations. If you do have a business and you'd be interested in having one of those trees, please come speak to me after, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you, like Jesse mentioned, or maybe you just would like to adopt a family. There are some families that are in need, and that program is a little bit different. We actually adopt the parents as well. So we find out what are some needs that you have in your home. And you would be shocked. A lot of them want blankets, you know, or just different simple things like kitchen supplies that they just don't have. You know, it's really interesting. You would never think that those are some kinds of things that's actually what the parents want. A lot of times they get things, they just want things for their children and they want nothing for themselves. But, you know, we always ask them, no, well, what about you? What are some hobbies that you enjoy doing? Do you like to go fishing? You know, whatever it may be. And we also bless the parents as well. But we really can't do that without the support here of the community to adopt a family as well.
And so then to go on, 9.
And before I forget, the distribution date this year is December 14th. And it is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. right at the Salvation Army location, so 286 Sutter Street. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to just show up the day of, and we will find something for you to do. We also have lunch that will also be provided for all volunteers.
Yes. Number 9, housing and utilities assistance, and then adult and family case management. This is the 10 major things that we try to highlight that we do, because a lot of times when you think Salvation Army, you think bell ringers, you think the thrift store. But as you know, our thrift store closed. And a lot of people are like, oh, the Salvation Army is leaving Auburn. We're not going anywhere. The Salvation Army has been here for almost 30 years in this community, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's the thrift store funded our rehab center. And there were some financial situations where they're reconsolidating certain thrift stores, reconsolidating certain rehab centers, and by doing so, they had to move thrift stores elsewhere, because in our rehab centers, the people that are getting off drugs and alcohol and whatever other problems they may have and situations they're trying to be free from, it's a work program. They're the ones that sort the donations. They're the ones that pick it up. They're the ones that bring it back to the stores and everything like that. And since Sacramento's rehab center moved to Stockton, there's no support for the thrift store.
So they merged. So the Stockton Adult Rehabilitation Center and the Sacramento Adult Rehabilitation Center merged. And so though that this is also under the same Salvation Army umbrella, it's under a different command. So Jesse and I were in charge of the Salvation Army, what it's called the Auburn Corps, where we have our food pantry and our church and all of these things that we provide. So that's under a different command, which is it's the core command, a divisional command. The adult rehabilitation centers are under the ARC command. So it's really interesting. They have different commands and different things, so that doesn't technically fall under us here, and which is why the thrift store did not support the Salvation Army Corps. It supports the adult rehabilitation centers, which is why the program is a 6-month free program, correct? And so with that, they merged, and then they created the Sacramento ARC as a facility for those that are getting out of the rehab to come back to learn construction work, to be certified through that, and culinary arts. So because of that, they have no means now to come all the way down to Grass Valley and Auburn to come and pick up all the donations to sort and bring it back, which is why they decided to move forward with closing it. But that really, like Jesse's saying, does not affect us. We're still here, and we're still going to serve in any way that we can, and we still will take donations of clothing, because we do pass that out in our food pantry, believe it or not. So our clients that come to our food pantry do come and ask for clothing as well, and we give that as well to them.
And so, that was just I just wanted to share that, because a lot of people ask about the thrift store. It's funding that. But I just want to also, why am I explaining all this? Why am I sharing all this? Well, I'm just going to give you numbers, and I'm not a math, I'm not very good at math, so don't crucify me if it's wrong. But it's first I'm telling you bell ringing. Bell ringing supports most of these programs for our whole fiscal year. The money we raise. That's how important the kettle season is. Everything we do for emergency disasters, from the food pantry, everything we do, I would say about 75% of it gets supported because of the kettle fundraising season. And this is a question. How do you serve dinner to someone you've never met? Be a bell ringer. How do you give hope to somebody that lost their house and buy them new tools? Bell ring for 2 hours. How do you bring food to those that are evacuated and help the emergency disaster team feed them for a couple days? Bell ring for 2 hours. How do you help them with rental assistance if they need it? Bell ring for 2 hours. It's amazing who you can help and how you can help them just by bell ringing. And you can break dance at the bell. You can bring a pet. You can have a family there. You can play instruments. It does not matter. And we can't thank Don Yamasaki enough for orchestrating this club's contribution to that. And if any of you want to bell ring with your family on a separate date, just please feel free to give me call me, email me, whatever, come down to the core and sign up. If you hit the next slide, this is where I was saying don't get mad at me, I'm not very good at math. We serve about 600 to 700 families a month in our family services food pantry. That's about 7,200 families a year, and that's a low estimate, which equals, because we give them about a week to 2 weeks, but I just calculated a week of food, 3 meals a day, 151,000 meals a year. And that's the low estimate. I hope I did the math right.
Yeah, so it's about 100 to 200 families a week that come through our food pantry.
And so this is all funded like I said, primarily because of bell ringing. So I have a video here that will show what $1 does. Well, a donation. And one thing I wanted to share, which is new this year, a lot of people don't carry cash anymore. And we've been trying to figure out a way that you can still participate and still donate. And so now I tell people there's no excuse. I don't have change, there's no excuse. Because I have a little video here that will demonstrate that as well. There you have it. Bell ringing. It's amazing how important it is. It started in San Francisco, and I forget the year, forgive me, because there was a Salvation Army officer that wanted to serve soup to the homeless, and he didn't have the money to buy enough soup to make enough soup. And so he went out there with a little kettle, black kettle, put a little cover over it so you couldn't reach in it, and just started ringing a bell to get people's attention, and they started donating it. And it's become an icon ever since. It's been, I think that's the word, right? Yeah. It's been an icon ever since. It's been something where people expect to see it during the holiday season. It helps people. It's just amazing how it started and what it is able to accomplish. And like I said, it funds most corps. I'd say about 90% of corps, the Salvation Army corps that do this services for the communities, 75%, if not more, is funded through what we raise through kettles. So, and this is why we've been trying to find a new way to have donations come in, because kettle donations have been going down because people don't carry cash or change anymore. But we invite you all to be the hope, to be the hope in unspeakable situations, to be the compassion in action, and to just love on this great community. Because ever since we've been here, we've only been here for about a year and a half, and I have been blown away with how generous and loving this community is. And you can see it through the generous donations, through the participation, and I just want to always give out that opportunity for you guys to join in on making this community even greater. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much for Yes, you. Yes, sir.
Oh,
I can't read your name tag, sorry. Bruce?
Bruce.
Okay.
Just want to help out your marriage a little bit. You were sharing that you had some disagreement about the high school thing. I lived in Florence for 5 years in the mid-'70s.
Oh.
I was one of the pastors at Lutheran Church for the Good Shepherd.
Yes.
On Victor.
Yes.
And down by West High. I
Oh.
preached the baccalaureate sermon in 1975 on campus. I want to tell you that West High is the best by far high school in all of Florence.
Yes, I'm sorry, Karen.
Nikki was my name, but he hasn't said the word.
Linda?
I
Linda?
wanted to share with you, my children, my grandchildren, when they were growing up, they would come to our house, we do a special Christmas, and they would ring the bell. So they moved to Arizona, so I went to Arizona and tried to find Salvation Army bell ringers. And when I called them, they go, "You want to volunteer?" And I said, "Yeah, we don't have any capacity to do that." I said, "I just want to ring the bell," and they couldn't do it. The only way they did it was by paying people to do it.
Yes, so that's something that a lot of people don't know. So most Salvation Armies do hire, they call them bell ringers. It's usually minimum wage. But the territorial commander has really encouraged all the Salvation Army Corps to go to volunteer. It makes such a difference, you know, than having somebody come because it's their job versus because they want to be there and want to give back. And so we are blessed that when we arrived here a year and a half ago, the Auburn Corps is 100% volunteers. So we welcome you all again, and come be a part of this. And you have our information here.
Yes.
And if you ever need anything, you know, that you'd like for us to partner with you guys or support wherever there may be a need in your company, or even with Stand Up Plaster, whatever you need, come connect with us and let us know if there's anything we can do for you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
When does the bell ringing season begin?
It's being, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Officially, we start November 18th, and we go till Christmas Eve. We do not ring on Sundays, and we do not ring on Thanksgiving. And besides the kettle that will be at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
As a way to thank you guys, we have a couple books that we want you to sign. These books go to the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm going to give these to Rand. Do Rand leave? Well, I'm not going to give them to the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, you can have them. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to give them to the Boys and Girls Club. All right. Have a good week.